Okay. Check the slide. I'll show you that. Sorry. I'll just put it here. Okay, this mic, this mic. Put it here just in case. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So respected brothers and sisters, we are now going to go through the practicalities of performing Umrah and Hajj, and we'll try and make it as short but as comprehensive as possible. So I'll see if I stick to the slides. If I stick to the slides, then we will be here till about 8 o'clock in the evening. So we won't stick to all the slides. I'm just going to, usually when I do this session, I know how we're going to travel, where we're going to go first, who you're going to meet there, etc., etc. This time it's all up in the air. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give you some practicalities of making sure you've got some of the things that you need. So in terms of practicalities, make photocopies of your passport and keep them on your email. So email them to yourself. So if you've got them on email, you will find them whenever you need them there, just in case. So keep photocopies of your passport. Keep your luggage to a minimum. I know that's hard. Yeah. So what do you need? What's essential? Is there something that I can buy there which I don't need to get from here? Okay. But because this year I think everyone is going to go Makkah first rather than Medina Munawwara. Looking at what the packages are saying, I think everyone's going to Makkah and Mukarramah first. So you will need your ihram probably. So you need your ihram. Whereas before, if they were going Medina Munawwara, they could have bought it from Medina Munawwara, and that would be less luggage. Make sure your hand luggage, you have all your medicine and essential items in your hand luggage so that you can get to it if you need it. Don't put your medicine or anything else that is really, really needed in your suitcase and then you can't find it. Make sure your bags are labeled and marked clearly with a home address on it. Okay? Make sure your bags are labeled. We don't know what the issue of Zamzam will be, so whether you can bring back Zamzam or not. Again, that's there's been conflicting advice coming, especially those who are coming back from Umrah. Some of them were able to bring on different airlines, some of them were not able to bring, some depending on which terminal, some depending on which airline. As was mentioned, if there's, just check which jabs you need. Okay, so if you need, obviously you need your COVID certificates on your phone. Also have pictures of them as well, just in case. Because when you land in Jeddah, you might not have access to any internet. So you're trying to get on your NHS website to show that you're jabbed and you don't have it. So either have physical copies of it or pictures of it. Yeah, but physical copies will be better because sometimes they'll say, well, this is only a picture, we need physical copies. And you say, well, I've got it online, but I don't have internet. Then that's your fault. You move to one side. That's what happens sometimes. So make sure you've got physical copies of everything. Yeah? Credit cards. So this obviously it was mentioned earlier about trying to pay your package with a credit card so that you're covered, and it's fine paying with a credit card as long as you pay it as soon as possible without getting any interest. Also, in terms of money exchange over there, sometimes you get different rates. What is a very, very good bank which gives very good rates in this country and abroad is, I don't know, there's another one as well, but there's one which is called Starling Bank. Yeah, so if you have a Starling account, it gives you rates over there which are better than the exchange rate. Yeah, so you can go to, as long as you've got, money which you're going to spend there, if you put it in there, you'll be able to go to a bank and you are able to take money out from your Starling account and it will be similar rate or better. Okay, so Starling is a very, very good bank. And before you go, if you register now, you'll be able to open an account before you go and just make sure there's about 1,500 pounds is there. However much money you need over there, and then you will just be able to go to anywhere to take out any money, and then you just put in your Starling number and you can withdraw. So it's very, very useful. That will avoid you taking a lot of cash. You'll have to take some cash, but over there at ATMs you'll be able to withdraw with your Starling account. Yeah. that's it. I think in terms of practicalities, I think that's it for me, in terms of practicalities. The next part is coming up to the travel. So before travel, just make your travel checklist. So some of the things I'm going to mention, and then from an Umrah perspective. So I'm just going to mention, so I'm going to skip all these slides, is the virtues of Hajj. Okay? So because, as I mentioned in my first session, try and read, well, my first session was about mindset. And I want you to go away not only begging Allah that Allah takes us for Hajj, but now you have to read up on Hajj as well. And the reading is of two types. One is the fiqh and one is the virtues. The virtues are done so that you understand where you are going. You're going to Makkah Mukarramah, you're going to Medina Munawwara, you're going for the journey of Hajj. What is the reward for Hajj? What is it that I'm going to perform there? Why am I going there? What are the rewards? What are the rewards of Arafat on the day of Arafat? Why do I go to Mina? Why do I go to Muzdalifah? All of these things, try and start reading. You've got at least 2-3 weeks left before you travel. 2 weeks at least. So in these next 2 weeks, you have to read. One is Virtues of Hajj. So there's a book by the Shaykh al-Hadith, Muhammad Zakaria Kantal, which is called Virtues of Hajj. You can download it online as well. So you can read that, and you can get a book form as well. Or you can go to other websites which just talk about virtues of Hajj, the rewards, etc. Also, there's another website which talks about the different places that are there in Makkah Mukarramah and Medina Munawwara. Try and read at least one area every day. So, what is Muzdalifah? What's the significance of Muzdalifah? What is Mina? What is the significance of Mina? What is Arafat? What is the significance of Arafat? Which cemetery is in Makkah Mukarramah? Which cemetery is in Medina Munawwara? The place of Battle of Uhud, the places, other places which are in Medina Munawwara, other places which are in Makkah Mukarramah. There's a website, Islamic Landmarks, which has all of that. Okay, there's that website, and there might be other websites as well. But Islamic Landmarks is a really good website to try and you can download the book from there as well, a booklet which just gives you Makkah Mukarramah and Medina Munawwara. Okay, so that's really helpful. Another tip is there's a lot of walking in Hajj. Yeah. I always say that it is one of the best journeys of your life, but most tiring journey of your life. Yeah, it is so tiring. It is so tiring that if I start explaining, you say I don't want to go. Yeah, so I'll say that it's really good. It's very comfortable. Don't worry about it. But no, during the Hajj days, there's a lot of walking, and that walking is sometimes done for men. It's done in slippers. Okay? For the women, and they say it's equality, but they got the most comfortable shoes that they can find on the planet. Yeah? And then they complain about equality. So we will be struggling with our feet and our blisters, and then they say, what's wrong with you? Yeah? So the women should find the best trainers, shoes that you can find which are comfortable to walk in. The men should do the same. Because the majority of the days you'll be able to wear those. It's only the time when you are in ihram that you are not allowed to wear those. Okay? So I went to buy some trainers, and I made sure that I use those trainers whenever I'm walking long distance from Mina to Arafat, or from Arafat to Muzdalifah. Sometimes you're walking, sometimes you're on the coach, but there's a lot of walking. So if you're not in the ihram, you can wear those trainers. Okay? So, and number two, for the men especially, practice walking in the slippers that you will be wearing in ihram. Yeah? So if you bought those Crocs, you need to practice walking in those Crocs. Now, don't go to the park in ihram and start walking around. All I'm saying is practice walking in the garden in those slippers. Yeah? Just in case you get all the police around you. This guy is a Muslim and is wearing 2 sheets of cloth and he's got a rucksack. Yeah? What's going on? Yeah? So but definitely practice, because that's how you will realize whether that footwear is good for you or not. Yeah, that footwear is good for you or not. And you need to practice walking. If you're not used to exercising, then you need to practice walking. You need to practice walking 1 hour a day. There's a lot of walking in Hajj, a lot of walking. Okay, so those are the practical tips. Your slippers, your walking, and your cards, and all of those things that I've mentioned. And like I said, virtues of Hajj, try and get a book on the virtues, number one, and go through the Islamic landmarks. And number two, fiqh of Hajj. Now, here we've got a book on sale here, which is How to Perform the Hajj, okay, from Shaykh Muhammad Salim Duransa. So he's done a series of books for Medina Munawwara, for Hajj, for just the journey itself in terms of the reverence of the places that we're visiting and visiting the grave of the Prophet ﷺ. So I always advise. Now, this is from the Hanafi perspective. Majority of the Muslim community who are from South Asia in this country, they're from the Hanafi school of thought. But if you need a book from your particular school of thought, get one book. One book. Ask your Imam and ask which is the best book for Hajj from our Shafi perspective, or Maliki perspective, or Hanbali perspective, and get that one book. Now, sometimes people in the fiqh, what they might do is they might get 1, 2, 3 different books. That will confuse you. One reputable book from your particular fiqh is enough. Otherwise, you will get confused. And especially this year, you might not have any imams there with you. Yeah? From your school of thought, who can speak English, you might not have that. Yeah? So that's going to be quite discerning in terms of you're not sure whether to do this or that. So make sure that you have one book that you can rely on. Ask your local imam, which book shall I take, and then stick to that. Make sure you keep it easy. Don't make it difficult for yourself. Hajj is not difficult. We make it difficult. It's the logistics which are difficult. The logistics which are difficult. The Hajj itself is easy. There's 1 action, 2 actions, 3 actions, 4 actions. These are the actions we need to do. And these are the things that sometimes we get mixed up, or was I supposed to do this or not? Do I need to pay a penalty? Just remain calm about it. As long as you don't do a big mistake, inshallah, giving a bit of sadaqah, it should be fine. Okay, so just stay calm and hopefully stay patient. Right? That's the other thing I forgot to mention. The other thing with your ihram and all those things, make sure you pack in your suitcases lots of patience. Keep them, if you've got 35 kilos to take, 30 kilos patience and 5 kilos clothes. Because patience is the biggest thing. Honestly, in Hajj, everything is about patience. People will upset you a lot. You've got people, this year you will have people who you don't know with you. Right? So that's a challenge in itself. So take a lot of patience. That's why it mentions in the hadith, when Hajj is that whoever performs Hajj for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and does not speak evil and does not act evil, they are the ones who return as if they are a small baby without any sin. So nothing with your tongue and nothing with your actions. Okay? Now so who is supposed to do Hajj? Again, I won't mention this because we've all intended to go for Hajj. So the Hajj is for us, inshallah. See, this is a point which I used to get a lot before. A lot of people used to say, Shaykh, I'm not ready for Hajj. It's not about whether you're ready or not. It's about, is it obligatory? Shaykh, I'm not ready to perform Salah 5 times Salah. Whether you're ready or not, you still have to perform it. Shaykh, I'm not ready to give zakat. My mindset is not there. Well, it's not about you and your mindset. You're Muslim, you give your zakat. You're Muslim, you pray your 5 times Salah. You're able to perform the Hajj, go perform the Hajj. And there are some people who used to say, I'll perform Hajj when I'm 60, 70. So why? So if I go now, then I have to change. Change what? Well, I have to become a better person. I have to grow my beard. I have to wear my scarf. And look, these are 2 different things. One is the obligation of performing Hajj, and one is the obligation of becoming a better person. They're two different things. Yes, Hajj should enact a change, should bring a change. But it doesn't mean that just because you don't want that change to happen now and you want to carry on doing what you're doing, doesn't mean you miss the obligation of Hajj. So lots of people used to say, I'll go when I'm ready, I'll go when I'm ready. And now look what's happened to the Hajj. Are we even able to go when we want to? No. So don't delay something where you don't know what's going to happen later on. If you've got the money, if you've got the ability, if you've got the health. Some people, they say, I'm going to go for Hajj next year. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills that they become ill and they can't go. I'm going to go Hajj next year. Allah wills that their business collapses. So if you have the ability, go. Make that intention. And then Allah will bring that change in your heart. Yeah, so don't delay the Hajj. And we always used to mention this, and now it's become a reality for each and every one of us. Yeah, so this is important for you to understand. So I'm just going to go through this slide, and hopefully you'll understand it. So there's three types of Hajj. So there's Qiran, there's Tamattu, and Ifrad. Okay, Qiran, Tamattu, and Ifrad. Okay. Let me explain this before looking at the slide. Let me explain this very simply so that it comes into your mind, and then you can look at the slide. Qiran, the word qarana in Arabic means to join. To join. And qarana, Qiran means that you're joining Hajj and Umrah together in one ihram. In one ihram. So because you are doing Umrah and Hajj together in one ihram, this is why it's called Qiran. Okay? Tamattu means to benefit, to take benefit. Because in this one journey, you are benefiting, you're going for Hajj, but you're benefiting from the opportunity and also performing Umrah. That's why it's called Tamattu. So because you are performing Umrah and Hajj, but this time the difference between Qiran and Tamattu is that you're doing it in two separate ihram. Two separate ihram. So you're taking benefit of the journey and you're doing it in two separate ihram. That's Tamattu. And then you have Ifrad. Ifrad is you don't do Umrah, you only do Hajj. You only do Hajj. Ifrad means single, one, and you only do one thing, and that is Hajj. Okay? Now, there are differences of opinion of which one is better. So, Imam Hanifa will say this is better, and Imam Shafi will say this is better. We'll park that to one side. You go and find out from your own ulama which one they think is better. Usually it's what is in your convenience, that's what you should do. What is in your convenience, just do that. Because this year, like I said, there's so many uncertainties that just do what is convenient, because it depends on your flight as well. Yeah. So the person who's doing Qiran and the person who's doing Ifrad, okay? The person who's doing Qiran and the person who's doing Ifrad, when they leave the UK and before they enter the boundary, which is called the miqat, so just before you land, you have to be in the state of Ihram. And because everyone is going to Makkah Mukarramah first, the person who's doing Ifrad and the person who's doing Qiran will be in the state of Ihram until the 10th of Zulhijjah. Understand? So from the time you leave, so if you leave on the, when are the first flights on that Mutawwil? 25th June. Yeah. And Hajj dates look like to be 10th of July, 9th of July, 10th of July. This is 10th of July. So if you leave on the 25th of June, and just before you land, you make the intention that, oh Allah, I am in the state of Ihram for Hajj, Ifrad, or I am in the state of Ihram for Umrah and Hajj during Qiran. Then you will perform, you will stay in Makkah Mukarramah, and those who are doing Ifrad will stay there, they just Tawaf al-Qudum, and they won't be doing the Umrah, but they will stay in Ihram until they go for Hajj on the 8th of Zulhijjah, 9th of Zulhijjah, 10th of Zulhijjah. Once the Qurbani is done and the slaughtering is done and the hair is cut, that is when they will come out of Ihram. So they will be in Ihram for about 15 days. Similarly, the person who's doing Qiran will also be in Ihram for 15 days. The only difference between these two is that this person will do Umrah and then stay in Ihram, not cut their hair, and then stay in Ihram until the Hajj, go for Hajj, and then on the 10th of Zulhijjah, after they've done the Qurbani and cutting their hair, that's when they will come out of Ihram. This is why I say it's about your convenience. What majority people will do is that they will go on the 25th of June and they will make intention of Ihram for Umrah. For Umrah. Then they will go into Makkah Mukarramah, perform the Umrah, cut their hair, and come out of Ihram. And now they are free to wear their normal clothes, the comfortable shoes, etc., and stay in Makkah until the days of Hajj. And then on the 8th of Zulhijjah or the 9th or the 7th of Zulhijjah, they will wear the Ihram for Hajj, make the intention, and then they will go for Hajj, and they will be in their Ihram for 3 days, and then on the 10th, they will come out of the Ihram. So that's the difference. That's the convenience. Is that understood? Now you look at this, and now I'll show you. So there's a Qiran, combining Hajj and Umrah with no break in between. I mentioned this to you already, yeah? One Ihram, make Ihram for Umrah and Hajj, no break. There's a difference of opinion on how to perform the Qiran Hajj. According to the Hanafi school of thought, which is a majority in this room, you do the Umrah as you normally do, except cutting of the hair. So you do the Tawaf, and you do the Sa'i, but you don't cut your hair. And then you wait. And you stay in your Ihram until the Hajj days, and then you do the Tawaf of Hajj, and you do the Sa'i of Hajj. So there's 2 Tawafs and there's 2 Hajj. According to other schools of thought, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, there is only 1 Tawaf and 1 Sa'i. Okay, so just read about that yourselves if you're going to do Qiran. Okay, so that's a slight difference of opinion. And so animal sacrifice is obligatory for a Qarin, and animal sacrifice is obligatory for a Mutamattil. Okay, so you have to do the Imam. If you do Ifrad, then the other difference is that the animal sacrifice is optional, it's not necessary. Okay, if you do Ifrad. Number 2, Tamattu. Combining Umrah and Hajj with a break in between. 2 Ihrams, make Ihram for Umrah and break, and make another Ihram for Hajj. Tawaf and Sa'i, you'll be doing for Umrah, and then you'll be doing for Hajj. And animal sacrifice is obligatory. And Ifrad, only Hajj is performed, no Umrah before it. 1 Ihram, make Ihram for Hajj only. Tawaf and Sa'i is only 1 because it's only for Hajj, and it's recommended, it's mustahab to do the animal sacrifices. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. Now we'll go through how to perform the Umrah, etc. But this is your mindset. This is what you need to understand. And you need to decide before you travel, which one am I going to do? The most easiest one, comfortable one, convenient one for everybody will be Tamattu. Okay, but if you feel that you want to stay in Ihram for those 15 days, then you can do Ifrad or you can do Qiran, one or the other. Okay? If you do Qiran, then you'll be doing Umrah and Hajj. If you do Ifrad, you'll only be doing the Hajj. And if you do Qiran, you will have to do Qurbani. And if you're not doing Qiran, you're doing Ifrad, then there's no Qurbani necessary. You can do it optional. Okay, so I'll talk about the Hajj days, and then I'll go back to your traveling from here, and I'll mention that. But the Hajj days, so for example, just say this year is the 10th of July, is 10th of July Saturday, just check. They say Eid might be on Saturday, so I think it is the 10th. 10th of July is Sunday. So 9th of July is saying it's going to be Eid, most probably. But to make it easy for us, we'll make the dates the same. Okay, so 10th of July is the 10th of Zulhijjah, 9th of July is the 9th of Zulhijjah, for just for understandings. Okay? Actually, no, we'll make the actual dates because the actual dates are most probably 95% these are going to be the actual dates. So 9th of July is going to be the 10th of Zulhijjah. 8th of July is going to be the 9th of Zulhijjah. And 7th of July is going to be the 8th of Zulhijjah. Okay? So Saturday is going to be Yom Arafah. The Saturday is going to be the Yom al-Eid, Yom al-Adha. Friday is going to be Yom Arafah, and Thursday is going to be the first day, 8th of Zulhijjah. So just for possible, most probably Thursday. Okay, so 8th of Zulhijjah is most probably Thursday. So on the 7th night, Wednesday night, you're still in Makkah Mukarramah. So you've been in Makkah now for nearly 13 days, 14 days. Okay, you came on the 26th of June, most probably. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, so 7. Is it 7th or 8th? 7th is going to be the 8th of Zulhijjah. So what we've got to think about, number one, is how do you perform your salah? I'll just mention it now. I'm going to mention it afterwards as well. Some of you might say that, am I a musafir? Am I a traveler? So if you perform your salah behind the imam, you will perform exactly like the imam performed. Okay? You copy the imam. It doesn't matter whether you're musafir or not. If they read 4, you read 4. If they read 3, they read 3. You read. They read 2, you read 2. Okay? So Fajr, Maghrib, Isha, Zohar, everything is the same. If you're going to read on your own, and according to the Hanafi school of thought, if it's less than 15 days you're staying in Makkah, which is going to be less than 15 days, because you're then going to move from Makkah on that Wednesday night or Thursday morning to Mina, which is outside the boundaries of Makkah. And then you're going to Arafat, and then you're going to Muzdalifah, and then you're coming back to Mina. So you're going to stay in Makkah for around 12 to 13 days. 12 to 13 days, which is less than 15 days. So if you are staying in Makkah Mukarramah and you're reading your salah on your own, then Fajr you will read 2 rakats first. You can still read the Sunnah as well. Nothing wrong in not. Some people say, well, you don't need to read Sunnah if you're traveling. You don't need to, but there's nothing wrong in doing so. And especially in a holy place, read your Sunnah, especially if you've got time. So read your Sunnah and then read your Faraz 2. For Zohar, again, you can read your Sunnah. Sunnah will always be full amount of Sunnah. Only the Faraz becomes 2 for Zohar. The Faraz becomes 2 for Zohar if you're reading on your own. Asr will also become 2 if you're reading on your own. Maghrib will become 1.5 if you're reading. Just making sure you're listening. Maghrib will be 3 if you're reading on your own. There's no half for that. Okay? And Isha will be 2 if you're reading on your own. Okay? And Witr will remain the same. Okay? Read all your sunnahs the same amount. Okay? One other point I'll mention here, learn how to perform janazah salah. Learn how to perform janazah salah. After every salah, there is an announcement. As-salatu ala al-amwati yarhamukumullah. So when they say as-salatu ala al-amwati, salah on dead people. Amwat is the plural of one person who's died. Al-amwat is lots of people who died. Okay? Or they might say as-salatu ala al-mayyiti, one male. As-salatu ala al-mayyitati, one female. So usually as-salatu ala tifli, a child. So they will announce that there is janazah salah maybe after every namaz. So you will stand up and you will join the salatul janazah. So try and learn how to perform janazah salah according to your school of thought. There is a slight difference of opinion on what you should read. There are 4 takbirs. There's a Hanafi channel where it says, how do I perform salatul janazah? And within 3 minutes you know how to perform salatul janazah. Okay? So write it down and then learn it. The other point is sometimes, especially the men know that if they miss a rakat, then they know how to cover that rakat. The sisters, because we don't usually go to the masjid, if you get to the masjid and the imam's done one rakat already, or the imam's done two rakats already, how do you join and how do you then stand up to complete the rest of the salah? Learn this. Learn this. Because that is also going to happen to you as well. So you miss one rakat, what am I supposed to do? Let me give you golden rules of how to make up your salah behind the imam if you've missed rakats behind the imam. Number one, however many rakats you have missed, that is how many rakats you will stand up and do. Okay, that's number one. So if you miss one rakat, you will stand up and do one rakat extra afterwards. So you've done 3 with the imam, and you do 1 more yourself in a 4 rakat salah. If you've done 2 rakats with the imam, then you will stand up and you will complete the 2 yourself. Right? If you've done 3 rakats with the, if you've done 1 rakat with the imam, you will stand up and do 3. Okay. Then the question is, what do I read in those salah? So whenever you stand up, according to your reading, it will be your first rakat. So what do you normally read in your first rakat of reading? Surah Fatiha and Surah. Okay? So if you miss 1 rakat, in that first rakat you stand up, you will read Surah Fatiha and Surah. If you miss 2 rakats, it's your second rakat, first rakat and second rakat. Normally you read Surah Fatiha and Surah, so you will read Surah Fatiha and Surah. If you miss 3 rakats, you will read Surah Fatiha, Surah, and only Surah Fatiha in the third rakat. Okay? So according to when you stand up, it will be your first rakat according to Qira'ah. Okay? And then according to your sitting, it will be whatever rakat you stand up at according to your sitting. Right? According to your sitting, it will be according to which rakat you joined. Right? So for example, if you miss 1 rakat, so that means it's your 4th rakat now when you stood up, you've done 3 with the imam, and it's your 4th rakat that you stood up. So according to sitting, it's your 4th rakat. According to qira'ah, it's your first rakat. So you read Surah Fatiha and Surah. According to sitting, it's your 4th rakat. So what do we normally do after 4 rakats? We sit down. So you will sit down and you will finish your salah. If you miss 2 rakats, according to qira'ah, it's your first rakat. According to sitting, it's your 3rd rakat. So you will not sit after the 3rd rakat, you will sit after the 4th rakat. If you miss 3 rakats, yeah? How many rakats have you called with the imam? 1. So when you stand up, according to qira'ah, it's your first rakat. According to sitting, it's your 2nd rakat. So you will sit down after 1, and then you will get up again, and then you will sit down after the 4th. So always remember, according to sitting, it's whatever rakat you are reading. According to qira'ah, it's your first rakat. Golden rule makes it very easy. Okay? Like I said, learn Salat al-Janazah as well. Now, so Wednesday night is most probably the 7th of the Hajj. Wednesday night. That is when, after Isha, you will be getting ready. Now, when we were going with groups previously, because there were 26,000 people from UK in the camps, and then you've got other people from different countries, from Europe, Australia, America, in our same camps. The groups used to start preparing their groups to go from that night, to go to Mina. 8th of Zulhijjah is Thursday, for example. It's sunnah to leave after sunrise on Thursday. It's sunnah to leave after sunrise on the first day of Hajj, which is the 8th of Zulhijjah. That's the sunnah time. So you read your Fajr in Makkah, and then you get ready, and then once the sun rises, then you leave for Mina. But because of the amount of people that were there, we used to leave early. We used to leave at 1 o'clock at night the night before, or 2 o'clock at night, or midnight. So we used to get to Mina before Fajr. This year, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but nobody knows. But what you've got to be prepared mentally, and whatever your group leaders tell you, be prepared for that. You will leave most probably on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, according to whatever advice or instructions you are given. Does that make sense? Now, in order to prepare to go for Hajj, you will do all the things. Now, if you're not in Ihram already, if you're not doing Ifrad and you're not doing Qiran, you will not be in Ihram. You will not be in Ihram. Okay? You will now be putting on your Ihram now to go either on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So if they say you're leaving at 7, you need to be ready for about 5:30 in your Ihram. Okay? Now, Ihram is a state of intention and a state of mind. It's an intention which is Ihram. The clothes are a condition for Ihram. So the clothes, if somebody is wearing 2 sheets of cloth, if I wear these 2 sheets of cloth now, am I in the state of Ihram? No. The cloth is just part of the Ihram, which is part of the conditions that you have to wear these kind of clothes, and you can't do this, and you have to do this. That's what Ihram is. That's what the clothes are. But in terms of Ihram itself, until you make your intention, you are not in Ihram. You are not in Ihram. So, for example, you're leaving this country on the 25th of June, yeah? And you decide that, oh, it's going to be difficult for me to wear the Ihram cloth on the aeroplane. So I live in London, so I'll wear my Ihram clothes from here. But what I'll do is I'll wear the bottom part from here, I'll wear a jabba, and I'll go to the airport like this. And then when I'm on the plane, I'll take off my jabba and I'll wear upper sheet. But then when I'm 1 hour away from landing, that's when I will make my intention. Yeah? Or somebody decides from East London Masjid, I'm going to pray 2 rakats here, get in the car from here, in the state of Ihram, or wearing the Ihram cloth. But I won't make the intention until 1 hour before landing. When does that person come into Ihram? 1 hour before landing. Not when you see them on the street in Whitechapel, or when you see them in the airport at Heathrow. They might look like they're in Ihram, but they're not in the state of Ihram because they haven't made the intention. So always remember, a state of Ihram is intention. Yeah? Now, if somebody lands in Jeddah without making the intention, they have violated one of the conditions, which is to make the intention before coming into miqat. Okay, so there's a penalty for that. They might have to go out into another miqat and make the intention. But you have to make the intention before you enter into the border. The border which has been given by the Prophet ﷺ. And we'll talk about that border. Okay, so similarly, when you go for Hajj, you also have to do the same. But the difference is, when you're coming into Makkah, when you're flying in and you're coming in for the first time, there's a miqat. Okay, there's a miqat which has been given by the Prophet ﷺ. If you're coming from the north, then you need to make your intention before reaching this place. If you're coming from the south, then you need to make the intention before coming this way. If you're coming from the west, coming from the east, you have to make your intention before you reach this place. That's been given. So when you're going from here, or whoever's coming in, they all have to make their intention before. Then you've come out of your ihram after doing umrah and you're in Makkah for 11 days, 12 days, and now it's the 7th of Zulhijjah at night or 8th of Zulhijjah in the morning, and they've told you that we're going to leave at 7 o'clock. Where do you wear your ihram from? You wear it wherever you are. You wear it wherever you are in the hotel. You don't have to go Masjid Aisha as well for your Hajj ihram. For your Hajj ihram, you wear it there, in the hotel, wherever you are. Okay? And you make your intention there as well. Yes, you might say, okay, I'm going to the Masjid Haram is just here in front of my hotel. I'll go there, I'll pray 2 rakats there, I'll make my intention there, and I'll come back and get onto the coach. That's possible. But you need to make your intention as you're leaving in Makkah. Okay? It's not that if you don't make your intention and you get to Mina, then the Hajj is not counted. You can make your intention there as well. But the sunnah is to be in the state of ihram before you leave Makkah Mukarramah, and leave after sunrise. But you will be at the behest of your group or whoever is managing you. They are the ones who will tell you what time you're going to do. Okay? And that's what time you will do. That's on the 8th of Zulhijjah. So this will be Thursday morning. Thursday morning, once you've left, or Wednesday night, once you've left, you get to your camps. And depending on whether you are VIP, very important pilgrim, or whether you are in, this year, I think it will be the best condition ever in Mina. I think that's one thing I'm happy about. Yeah? Because they want to put on a show this year for the UK Hajj, so that when they come back, they say, no, you need to go on the way, you need to go on the portal, you need to sign up. So this year will be the best, inshallah. So you get to Mina and you settle down. And what do you do on the first day of the 8th of Zulhijjah? You stay in Mina, and there's no actions, specific actions to do. Zohar Salah, Asr Salah, Maghrib Salah, Isha Salah, Fajr Salah the next day, which is Friday morning. 5 Salah you're going to do. But if you came at night, you will have done Fajr as well. So 6 Salah. So it just depends on what time you come. If you come before Fajr on the Thursday, then you read Fajr there as well. And then you read Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and then the next day Fajr. Okay? The night of Zulhijjah. The rest of the time you will be in Mina. You spend your time however you want, but obviously you will want to try and spend that time as best as possible. How will you perform your salah? Now you've come out of Makkah, and now everyone there is a musafir. Even your imam most probably is a musafir. And usually we do the salah in a camp. So for example, just say this is a camp, and that is a camp over there. The imam over there will be leading their own salah. Here we'll be leading our own salah, and we will be doing 2 Fajr, 2 Zohar, 2 Asr, 3 Maghrib, 2 Isha. Yeah? Because we're all musafir. Spend that time well. That's the main thing I can say. Usually we do talks when there's imams there, we give talks just to give inspiration, just to keep people lively, just to keep them their mindset. But we don't know whether there'll be any imams this year. Inshallah, just hope that they are able to take. My own suggestion to Brother Rashid is that if there's 3,600 pilgrims, there should be at least one imam for every 36. Or one. My mindset was one imam for every coach. So that turns out to be about 30, about 100 imams. That will at least help the Hajjis from the UK. Let's hope that happens. Okay, sure. So as you can see here, on the 8th of Zulhijjah, enter Ihram in the morning, go to Mina, pray short on Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, Mina, spend night of 9th in Mina, after Fajr in Mina, make your way to Arafat. Is that understood? That's the first day of Hajj. Yeah? The second day of Hajj, the transport will take you from Mina to Arafat. This is the most important day of the Hajj. Yeah? Somebody asked that question earlier when Shaykh Al-Halbawi was here about, the packages. Some say you can start from Mina, some say you can start from Arafat. Yeah? This is the reason, because the Sunnah is these days, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and even 12, 9, 13, especially the 13th is also the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But in terms of your Hajj being accepted, the main day is the 9th. If somebody doesn't do the 8th and goes directly to Arafat, and then does all the other actions, and misses that 8th day, their Hajj will still be counted. But it's not what we're there for. We're there to try and make our Hajj the best as possible. So we're trying to do everything that we can. Everything. Yeah? So what do you have to do on the 9th? So you will be taken to an area. Again, Arafat is massive. It's huge. So people are in different camps. So you'll have a UK camp. Yeah? And there'll be tents there. So you'll be in the tent, and you'll get there by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, depending on the transport. You can rest because it's a long day. The main time is from Zawal onwards. From Zohar time onwards. And that's when you need to have strength. So to gain that strength, if you need to rest, you rest. So you can rest there for a couple of hours. And then when it comes to Zohar time, that's when the khutbah happens in Masjid al-Imran. So the Imam of the Hajj will give a khutbah at the Masjid of Nabi. Usually our UK Hajjis are not there, because that's not where our section is. The Imam will give the khutbah. After giving the khutbah, the Imam will read Zohar and Asr, two rakats together. So we read Zohar and then we read Asr together. According to majority schools of thought, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and the two Imams in the Hanafi school of thought, Imam Yusuf, Imam Muhammad, that is how every Haji should perform Zohar and Asr. 2 rakats Zohar, and then immediately after 2 rakats Asr. Okay? And it's written in the books of how you should do that, how many azans need to be done, how many iqamah need to be done, it's written. According to the Hanafi school of thought, Imam Abu Hanifa says that if you're behind the Imam of Hajj, then you do that. Because this is something different that happened from normal times. And therefore, if you're going against normal practice, which is to do Zohar time and Asr time, then you've got to do it exactly how it was done at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So he says that if you are behind the Imam of Hajj, just like Prophet ﷺ was Imam of Hajj, then you do the 2 rakats behind the Imam of Hajj, exactly the same. But if you're not behind the Imam of Hajj, then according to Imam Hanifa, he says, read the 2 rakats at Zohar time and read the 2 rakats of Asr at Asr time. So that is Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion. Now, I don't know what will happen in your camp. The Imam will tell you, read 2 rakats behind me, or the Imam will say, we're going to read 2 and then we're going to read 2 afterwards. Both are permissible according to the Hanafi school of thought. If you're not from the Hanafi school of thought, if you're from the Shafi or any other school of thought, you will do 2 at Zohar time, immediately at Zohar time, together. But Hanafi school of thought have a choice. You can do 2 at Zohar time, 2 at Asr, or you can do 2 as well, according to Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad, who are the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. Okay? So that's what's mentioned here. After the Zohar Salah is done, or the Zohar Asr Salah together is done, then is the time for dua. The Prophet ﷺ spent his time in dua from the time of Zohar all the way to the time of Maghrib. Okay? It's a long time. You're talking about 5-6 hours. So we are not going to be able to stand for 5-6 hours in the sun. Okay? So there's lots of dua books around, and there's lots of dua apps around as well. As Shaykh al-Halabawi mentioned, try and get some dua book, preferably in Arabic and English, or in a language which you understand. Okay? I always say that the du'as of the Quran are very, very effective, because they are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the du'as of the Prophet are very effective, they are the words of the Prophet. So read those as well. But Allah wants to hear your heart. So you read those du'as and you ask from your heart, whatever you want. And you'll get tired after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so then you rest. And whilst you're resting, you do some dhikr. Don't waste time. You read the first kalima, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The third kalima, Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Any dhikr that you know, keep your tongue busy with dhikr. What can happen is that because you're a bit relaxed, you start talking to someone here, and by accident, you might do one backbiting. In the plain of Arafah, on the day, most important day of Hajj, what's happened? Ya Allah. So keep yourself very, very careful. Keep yourself away from people who might take you towards talking about something which might lead to a sin. Okay? And then again, after you've had a bit of rest, you go again and you go make some more dua. And then you come back, rest. After resting, go and have some more dua. Dua. That's all this day is about. And especially in the last hour, just before the sun is going to set. Now, there you won't know the time of Maghrib. So make sure you've written it down. What time was Maghrib on that Wednesday? What time was Maghrib on the Wednesday? Because Thursday and then Friday will be Maghrib, will be a similar time. Although it's in Mina, Arafat, they're not too far away from Makkah. Okay? Then once the sun has set, then you will be told that you will be leaving Arafat. There is no Maghrib Salah in Arafat. There is no Maghrib Salah in Arafat. Yeah? And you will be leaving Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. You will be leaving Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. So they'll be telling you what time is the transport. They will take you from Arafat to Muzdalifah and they'll drop you off in an area where you will be spending the night. Okay, so that will be your area of spending the night. Then when you get there, the first thing you want to do is now wuzu you should do in Arafat. Wuzu do in Arafat before you leave. Very important tip, because there's very less wuzu facilities in Muzdalifah. Also take some bottles of water with you as well. You might need them for wuzu in the morning in Fajr time, because the toilets are packed. Because of that, I always recommend eat less during the days of Hajj. Have lots of fruit and fluid. But if you eat and you need to go to a toilet in Muzdalifah, it might be the most regretful decision you made during your Hajj. I don't know. I'm just so Allah knows best. So once you get to Muzdalifah, there's no tents there. There's no tents in Muzdalifah. It's open, yeah? And you'll see some pictures here. And in Muzdalifah, again, you read Maghrib and Isha together, and there's no difference of opinion in that. Okay, so Maghrib and then Isha together, and then you read your Sunnah afterwards, the Sunnah of Maghrib and the Sunnah of Isha afterwards. Okay, then you're going to spend the night there. It is recommended that you pick up your pebbles there, because that's the most easiest place you'll find pebbles. So after leaving Salah, people go and look for pebbles. So what you do, you go and look for pebbles, keep a bottle or keep a bag and put 70 pebbles. Yeah? Most you need 70 or you need 49. It depends on how many days you're going to pebble. Okay? If you do one extra day, then you need 70. Then after you spend the night in Muzdalifah, you won't get much sleep. You'll get about 2 hours or 3 hours. Some people, they're able to sleep 6 hours, even though there's so much noise. Right? Other people, they'll get 2 hours, 3 hours. Then you wake up for Fajr, and you read your Fajr there. Like I said, if you've got bottles, usually people do their wuzu with bottles in that area. Then you read your Fajr. And then you stay there until you start the Fajr time ends. And it's mentioned here, Mash'ar al-Haram. Mash'ar al-Haram is a specific mountain just on the outskirts of Muzdalifah. But also the Prophet ﷺ says all of Muzdalifah is Mash'ar al-Haram. So the du'as are accepted at this time between once you finish Fajr all the way to just before sunrise. So it's a time to make dua as well. But it just depends on your transport, because now they will be taking you back to Mina. So depending on your transport, you need to get ready and you need to start going towards the area where the coaches will be. And then you stand there, get onto the coach, and they drop you off at Mina. Right? And now we are on the 10th of Zulhijjah. So now it's Saturday. Yeah? It's very difficult to keep track of time during those days. It's really, really heavy. Very, very heavy. Especially the day of Arafat, the night of Muzdalifah, when you get back to Mina. And then when you get back to Mina, now you need to go and pelt the big jamarat. And sometimes they give you times and sometimes they don't give you times, depending on how much rush there is at the jamarat. So if they've given you a time, then you get ready and you go at that particular time. If they haven't given you a time, then it's up to you what time you go. You go and pelt the big jamarat. It's about a 45-minute walk from Mina, where the European camp is, all the way to where the jamarat is for us, for European camp. So if it's still the same camp this year, then it will take you 45 minutes walking. You will still be in ihram. So you put your ihram on the Wednesday night or Thursday morning. All day Thursday you are in ihram. All the restrictions of ihram remain. Friday, all day in ihram in the plain of Arafat. Friday night, Muzdalifah. All the dust is upon you. Saturday morning, now you're walking towards Jamarat from Mina. It will be about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, just depends what time you go for Jamarat. You're walking for about 45 minutes to an hour through the tunnels. You get to, now when you get to Jamarat from the European camp, you miss the first one, you miss the second one, and you go to the third one. On the first day, it's only the third one that you hit, the one nearest to Makkah, not the one nearest to Mina. So the first one you miss, because you've come from Mina. So you miss the first one, you miss the second one, you hit the third one. You hit the third one, 7 pebbles. Only 7 pebbles will be used on the first day. And then what is left is for your Hajj is the sacrifice of the animal and cutting your hair. Tawaf, Sa'i. Tawaf and Sa'i can be left for other days as well. You don't have to do it on the 10th. Okay? But because you want to get out of Ihram, your sacrifice needs to be done, and then your haircut. If you want to get out of Ihram as soon as possible, I assure you that you will be wanting to get out of Ihram as soon as possible. You will be, there's no links or anything on you now. That will evaporated on the morning of the 8th of Dhul. Now it's, I don't want to stay near him, I don't want to stay near her, I don't want to be near him. It's every man and woman for themselves. Yeah. Then what will happen is now the sacrifice might be done by yourself, or it might have been given to somebody else. According to the Hanafi school of thought, the pelting, the sacrifice, and then the haircut have to be done in the correct order. Pelting first, then animal sacrifice, then haircut. Pelting first, then animal sacrifice, then haircut. Then you come out of Ihram. And these 3 have to be done in order. The tawaf and everything, leave that for now. These 3 have to be done in order according to the Hanafi school of thought, and that is the Sunnah as well. That is the Sunnah way. According to other schools of thought, they can do it in different order. So sometimes when you're coming towards Mina, or you come after pelting, you will see some people cutting their hair. Just because you see some people cutting their hair, you don't go cut your hair. You have to wait for news. You have to make sure that your sacrifice is not done before your pelting. Whoever is responsible for your sacrifice, you tell them, I will let you know when I've done my pelting, and then you do my sacrifice. Number 1. And then you tell them, you let me know when you've done the sacrifice, so then I can go cut my hair. You have to wait. So you will let them know when the pelting is done, so that they can do the sacrifice. They will let you know when your sacrifice is done, so that you can cut your hair. Until then, you will stay in Ihram. Until then, you will stay in Ihram. Okay? Now, when you do your tawaf, you can do your tawaf in any order. After you've pelted, you can message the person who is doing your animal sacrifice, and you can tell them, go and do the sacrifice, and you can go to Makkah and do your tawaf. That tawaf is tawaf al-ifadah, the tawaf of Hajj. And after that tawaf is a sa'i. Once the sa'i is done, if then you've got a message that your animal sacrifice is done, then you won't cut your hair. Okay? Now, if you've done your tawaf and you've done your sa'i, but you've got no message that your animal sacrifice has been done, can you cut your hair? No. In Hajj, your hair is contingent upon your animal sacrifice. In Umrah, your haircut is contingent on your tawaf and then sa'i. You understand the difference? In Umrah, there's no animal sacrifice. And there's no pelting. So in Umrah, your haircut is contingent after your tawaf and sa'i is done. And in Hajj, your haircut is contingent on your pelting, animal sacrifice, and then your haircut. Okay? So let's go back to this chart here. So we talked about the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. All of this needs to be done. In Muzdalifah, you pray your Maghrib and Isha time with one azan and 2 iqamas. There's a slight difference of opinion in how many azan and iqamas as well. Just follow the book that you've got. Rest in Muzdalifah and offer Fajr here. Depart for Mash'ar al-Haram. Mash'ar al-Haram, like I said, it's no specific place. You can do it wherever you are. That is part of Mash'ar al-Haram. Wherever you are in Muzdalifah, that is Mash'ar al-Haram for you. This is where the Prophet ﷺ made dua. And then you've gone to Jamarat. So on that Saturday morning, you've got to the Jamarat and you only pelt 7 pebbles on that big one, which is the third one coming from Mina. You miss the first one, you miss the second one, and you do the third one. Then sacrifice animal and then cut hair, and then you will be able to come out of the ihram. Okay? Now, does the tawaf need to be done in ihram or not? No. The tawaf is not, because the tawaf is totally separate. Ihram is to do with your pelting, your animal sacrifice, and then your haircut. Okay? Once you cut your hair, you can run into that shower. And make sure you've got one whole bottle of shampoo and all your gels and everything, because that's what you need. One each. Okay? You can't say after you've been into the shower, I thought there was a full bottle here. Yeah, it's in use. So that's what's going to happen. So once you've done the pelting and the animal sacrifice and the haircut, you can jump into that shower because that restriction is gone now. You can put once you've done your haircut, you can come out of your ihram. You can come out of your ihram. Okay? And then you are able to wear your normal clothes. You're able to wear your normal shoes or trainers. And then you can go to the tawaf if you want. Or if you haven't done your animal sacrifice and haircut yet, then you will do your tawaf in your ihram. But that's your choice. Because the animal sacrifice and the haircut has not been done. You understand? So the tawaf can be done in ihram or out of ihram. The tawaf can be done in ihram, out of ihram. It can be done on the 10th. It can be done on the 11th. It can be done on the 12th up till Maghrib. Okay? 10th, 11th, 12th, Maghrib. Before Maghrib, you've got to get that tawaf done. Okay, the Hajj tawaf. Whether in ihram or out of ihram. Once you've done so most people will, and I'm just going by our experience, most people will have done the pelting, and most people will have done the animal sacrifice, and most people will have done the haircut and come out of ihram on the 10th of Zulhijjah. Over here in the UK will be Eid day. For you, it will be your hardest. Because you will have had 2 hours sleep, and then you come from Muzdalifah to Mina, Mina to Jamarat, Jamarat to maybe your hotel to get fresh and to get your normal clothes on, and then you're coming back to Mina. To spend the night in Mina, that night, Saturday night, and Sunday night is Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And according to some, it's wajib. According to some schools of thought, it's wajib. So therefore, don't miss this. Don't miss this. According to the Hanafi school of thought, it's wajib. Yeah? According to other schools of thought, it's sunnah. So we try and make sure that we all go back to Mina, to our camps, by the night. It's been a tiring day because you've walked all the way from Mina to Jamarat, 45 minutes to 1 hour. Now, if your hotels are in Makkah, then that's another 1 hour, 1.5 hours walk from Jamarat to Makkah. 1 hour, 1.5 hours walk. At that time, hopefully, your sacrifice, whoever's going to do your sacrifice, has done your sacrifice. When you get to your hotel, you might get a message that your sacrifice has been done. So then you might say, okay, I'll do my tawaf later on. I'm going to get my haircut done. The sisters can do their haircut in the hotel and jump into the shower before you lot come. And then they talk about equality. How many times do I have to talk about equality here? Then we have to go outside, we have to find a barber, we have to go and shave our hair, then we come back, yeah. Then we can go into the shower. So now everybody is in their normal clothes. This is just through experience. Then you will decide, okay, we're going to do our tawaf after Isha, or we're going to do our tawaf after Maghrib. Right? So you're already shattered. Yeah, you've decided to go Maghrib or Isha. You go into the Haram. You do your tawaf. You do your sa'i, and now your tawaf and sa'i of Hajj is done. But now you have to get back to Mina for the night. And it's already 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. But you still have to get into the boundary of Mina, especially if you're from the Hanafi school of thought, it's wajib. So, and the cars are jam-packed on the roads. Some of the taxis will say, we're not taking anything that way, it's not worth it for us. Or those who do, you'll be stuck in the traffic jam for 2 hours maybe, if you're coming from Makkah. Okay, so be ready for that. That's all part of that Hajj. Okay? And if you walk it, and well, if your legs are up to it, then it'll take you another 1.5 hours to get back to Mina. Well, one and a half hours to get back to Jamarat, and then from Jamarat to where our camps are, it will take you another 1 hour. So about 2.5 hours back to our camp. So it's very, very hard day. You woke up in Muzdalifah about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 o'clock in the morning you get back to Mina, possibly the next day. Okay, so that's how tiresome this day is here. The 10th of Zulhijjah. Now, some people, they will say, okay, I've come out of Ihram, I've gone to the hotel, I've cleansed myself, everything, but I'm not going to do tawaf today, because if I do tawaf and sa'i, I won't be able to get back to Mina. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rest, and then at 11 o'clock, I'm going to go to Mina. So they find a route to get to Mina. They get to Mina at 2 o'clock and they rest. The next day, you have to do pelting. That's the only thing you have to do from a Hajj perspective. But you've still got your tawaf left, some of you. So what you might do is go and do your pelting. But this time you have to do 3 pelting. First one, second one, third one. 7, 7, 7. Once you've done your 7, 7, 7, then you might say, okay, I'm going to do my tawaf now. So then you carry on to Makkah, go do your tawaf, and then you come back for the next night. So you might decide that I will do my tawaf the next day. So you have that choice of when to do your tawaf, as long as it's done before the 12th Maghrib. Okay. So here you see, if you haven't done your tawaf, then you still got your tawaf left. But if you've done it, then all you have to do is Jamarat, 3 throw pebbles, a small, medium, and big Jamarat, and then come back to your camp in Mina. Then 12th of Zulhijjah, continue pelting on the Jamarat, throw pebbles at small, medium, and big Jamarat. After pelting, now there's a choice, day 5. So 10th of Zulhijjah was Saturday. Saturday night you came back to Mina. 11th of Zulhijjah is Sunday. You will come back to Mina again. And then Monday, you will go and pelt again. Okay? Monday, after pelting, you have a choice. You can come back to Mina and pelt again on Tuesday, which is an optional day, or you finish your Hajj after pelting on Tuesday. How many days have you pelted? 3. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But 4th one is optional. 4th day is optional. So Tuesday is optional. 3 days everybody has to do. Yeah. So that's why I said 49 is minimum pebbles. 21 for Sunday and Monday, and 7 for the Saturday. Yeah. So that's 49. And if you're going to do 1 more extra day on the Tuesday, then you're going to do 3 more. 7, 7, 7, 21. So you need 70 altogether. Okay. So if you stay in Mina until Fajr on the Tuesday, then you will have to pelt after Zohr on the Tuesday. Okay, and I'll mention all the timings when you come. Then, just before you come home, you have to do Tawaf al-Wida, and then you come home. Okay, that's the only thing left. Tawaf al-Wida is wajib. Tawaf al-Wida means it's the farewell tawaf. You don't need ihram for this. You don't need ihram for farewell tawaf. It's 7 times around the Kaaba, and that's the tawaf al-wida. There's no sa'i as well. Okay, there's no sa'i. And so that's how Hajj is done. I'm going to just take a few questions and then I'll start with the Umrah, your journey from here. But hopefully it gives you a picture of how to perform the Hajj. The Hajj is not that difficult. It's just the logistics, the walking. Sometimes you're not sure, oh, I wasn't supposed to do this or that. Those are the things that sometimes people ask questions. But in reality, it's mainly the logistics, the walking, the tiredness. All of this is what tires you out sometimes. So any questions I'll take for the next few minutes and then I'll continue.
Optional health on Tuesday. It's the best for the
to stay. Although majority don't. In the years I've been, majority don't. But most of our pious people normally stay because it is better to stay and do it. Yeah.
Cutting your hair, you can just do it yourself on the razor.
Yeah, you can do it.
If Arafat is on Friday,
there's no Jummah in Arafat. So as far as I remember, I'll check again. In Mina, we've done Jummah before, in Mina, but in Arafat, because it's a plain and there's no masajid there, there's no people living there, that's why we pray Zuhr instead of Jummah. Yeah. Okay, we'll continue. So we'll just now quickly try and get our mindset that we're leaving this country. What do we do? Okay, so understanding ihram is so what is ihram? Ihram is the intention to perform. Yeah, so it's the intention either to perform Umrah or to perform Hajj. It's not the clothing. The clothing is part of ihram. Okay, so ihram is the intention to perform either Hajj or Umrah or both. When you make intention, you are in the state of ihram. So once you make the intention, then you are in the state of ihram. When someone is in the state of ihram, they are known as a muhrim. Muhrim. Okay. Now, when you are muhrim, there are certain things that you are allowed, and there are certain things which you are not allowed, and we'll talk about those as well. When do you enter into ihram? So remember what I said earlier, that if you're going inside the country for the first time, then you have to be in the state of ihram before you reach the boundary, which is called miqat. Miqat. And mawaqit is the plural. Mawaqit is the plural. So those who are coming from the north, Dhul Hulayfa is the boundary. Those who are coming from the west, Al-Juhfa is the boundary. That from the east, Al-Manazil from the east, Yalamlam from the south. So before you reach these areas, so what the ulama have done is made a red line from here, all the way here. There's a red line here. So this is the miqat. So when we're flying in towards Jeddah, just before Jeddah, about 45 minutes, half an hour before, is where you have to make that intention. So before you get to this point, the intention has to be made for ihram. Okay? Otherwise, you have to pay penalties. Okay, so you have to be in the clothing of ihram and you have to make the intention of ihram. Now, if somebody forgot to wear the clothes of ihram, and they thought, okay, I'm going to wake up and then I'm going to go to the back of the plane, I'm going to wear the clothes of ihram, and then I'm going to make the intention. But he's a deep sleeper. Yeah? So there's 45 minutes left. The pilot made the announcements that if you're going for Hajj or Umrah, make your intention, and he's there snoring away. And then half an hour left, and then now he's gone past that line, yeah, he's gone past the boundary, and then 25 minutes left, and he feels that the wheels are coming down from the airplane. there's a bit of turbulence, and he wakes up, and he becomes turbulent as well. And then he becomes turbulent, he wakes up, and then he sees, oh, what's happening here? And everybody is in ihram except him. Yeah. Now, or this is just before the boundary line, and he won't have time to change his clothes, but he's got time to make the intention. What should he do? Make the intention. He'll have to give penalty for the clothing, but he has to make that intention. Intention is more important than the clothing. Intention is the first thing. Then the clothing, we'll talk about that afterwards. Yes, we should be in that clothing, and if you're not in that clothing, there's penalty. But the intention is the first thing. If you're not in intention, then it can be a big problem. Okay? Sometimes people forget. Yeah. I know you might think it doesn't happen. Of course it happens. It does happen. Not intentionally. They're thinking, okay, I'm going to wake up 45 minutes before, or I'm at the boundary now, and I'll make it on the coach. Instead of making in the masjid in Sulh Hulayfa, they get on the coach and then they forgot to make the intention. So sometimes it happens, but very rarely. But when it does happen, people do ask questions. Okay? So mawaqit and miqat are the boundaries before which you have to be in the state of ihram, and ihram is the intention. Okay? There are certain etiquettes which one must observe before entering the state of ihram. So cleanliness. So all of these things will be done at home, because you're not going to get time to do this anywhere else. And then the day before you go for Hajj, you do the same things again. Okay? So there's 2 times you are going to do this. One is before you leave home on the 24th of June, or on the 25th, depending on what time your flight is, and on the day before you leave for Hajj on the Wednesday. Okay, you're going to do the same things. Okay? So these things are etiquettes of before you leave, before you get into the state of ihram. Get into the state of ihram. You can put on perfume before you get into ihram. Okay? Even though you will smell afterwards, you can put on perfume before ihram. After you're in ihram, you can't. Okay? So, what is the clothing for men and what is the clothing for women? For men, it's 2 sheets of cloth, and sandals which expose the ankle, and according to the Hanafi school of thought, not only the ankle but the bone on top. I never used to know what that bone was called until Beckham got injured. So the metatarsal. So when that metatarsal bone, so that top bone, which is on the front of your foot, so that has to be exposed, and the ankle has to be exposed. Yeah? According to the Hanafi school of thought. According to other schools of thought, the ankle definitely has to be uncovered. The top bone doesn't need to be uncovered. The head uncovered as well, and the shoulder covered as well, except when you're doing tawaf. The shoulder covered, except when you're doing tawaf, and only that tawaf in which there is a sa'i afterwards. That's a golden rule. You won't find this golden rule. You don't find it very easily. So expose the right shoulder in every tawaf in which you are going to do sa'i afterwards. And for the sisters, back to equality, they can wear whatever they want. Whatever they want, as long as they're covering themselves. And especially the footwear. For us, we find it difficult. We come back with blisters. They come back with very comfortable, very good feet. So,
Can they use white?
sorry?
Can they use white?
Can they use?
Can they use Wi-Fi? Oh,
Well,
that is a good addition.
sorry. Okay. So, so modest clothing, any color, face and hand showing, and head covered. In terms of if there's a sister who wants to wear the niqab, she can wear the niqab as long as it's not touching the face. As long as it's not touching the face. So that's why some of the women wear the cap and then wear the niqab. So the main thing is the cloth shouldn't be touching the face. Okay, so there are some sisters who still want to wear the niqab and they can wear it. It's difficult, it's not easy, but if they still want to wear it, then they should wear something which is not touching the face. Right, so the intention, how to make the intention? So once you've done all the things that you needed to do before you leave home, and then now you are on the plane, now there's 2 rakats to read before you make the intention of ihram. Now these 2 rakats are not farad and they're not wajib. Okay? According to some they're sunnah and according to some they're nafil. Okay? So if these 2 rakats are not done, don't stress. Don't stress. But if you want to pray them before you leave home, then fine. Because at least it's gone out of your head. That before I leave home, I'm going to make the 2 rakats for ihram and I'm going to do them at home. You don't have to make intention straight away after that. You can make intention after 6 hours, 7 hours, but you've read your 2 rakats. Okay? So it's a nafil or sunnah and you can read them anytime before. Okay? The 2 rakats salah. Then when it's time to perform, then when it's time to do the intention, make sure you've got the right clothes on. And then remember, everything else will become, those things which are not allowed in ihram will become impermissible. So if there's anything else that you need to do, put any perfume on or whatever, do that. Make sure your cap is off, and then you will make your ihram intention. Okay? The ihram intention depends on what you are going to do. If you're going to do qiran, you make the intention of qiran. If you're going to do ifrad, you're going to do intention of ifrad. If you're going to do tamattu, then you will be making intention of tamattu. And you will be saying labbaik after that. So if you are doing tamattu, which most probably you will, you will say, oh Allah, I am making intention for Umrah as part of my tamattu Hajj. Make it easy for me and accept it from me. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. And now you are in the state of ihram. Understood? So for Allah, I am making intention for Umrah as part of my tamattu Hajj. Make it easy for me and accept it from me. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Now you are in ihram. Now you are going part of your Hajj is started. Reality hits home. Yeah. Now you have to continuously be very careful. Sometimes they give you wipes on the airplane because you've just eaten something. They have scent. You can't use that anymore. When you get off and you get to Jeddah airport and you go to the toilet and then you're going to use the soap, remember you can't use scent anymore. Yeah. Keep your non-scented soap with you in your hand luggage. Yeah, so that will make it easier for you. Yeah, so keep your non-scented soap with you, so it will make it easy for you. Then you will land in Jeddah airport, you get your luggage, and you come out to show your passport, etc. And hopefully there's a welcoming person there who will take all your luggage and take you to your hotel. All this time now, you've got to make sure you remember that you are in Hajj. You can't fight, you can't quarrel, you can't argue. You've got to focus on Allah. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Continuous labbaik. Either reading Quran, reading du'as, reading the virtues of Hajj, or reciting labbaik. And when you read labbaik, you read it with your heart. And you say labbaik, oh Allah, I am here. Labbaik, oh Allah, I am here. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. So if you read it, try and understand the meaning and read it with your heart so that Allah knows you're here. You've come with your heart, you've come with your mind and soul, you've come with your body. And you're saying, Allah, I am here, Allah, I am here. You called me. I haven't come by myself. You are the one who's called me here. Now I'm going to make the best, I'm going to do the best that I can. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. Okay? Yeah, so this Surah Kafirun and Surah Ikhlas is before you make the intention. The 2 rakats are before you make the intention. Right, so what's not allowed? Yeah, what's not allowed during Ihram? So these are the things that are not allowed. No marital intimacy whilst you're in the state of Ihram. no committing sins, no disputes or arguing, no sewn clothes or footwear. So sewn clothes for the men, it means that you're not allowed to wear any clothes that are in the shape of your body. So no vest, no underwear, only the 2 sheets of cloth. Okay, only the 2 sheets of cloth. You are allowed to wear belt. Okay, you're allowed to wear the lungi type bottom as well. That's not considered clothes because it's not in the shape of the body. Okay, so if somebody is wearing a lungi, that's also allowed in Hajj. Okay, but usually you wear it as a white cloth, as a lungi. Okay, but as long as it's not in the shape of a body, so it's not in the shape of the arm, it's not in the shape of the leg or the chest or anything like that, it's allowed. Yeah, so the sisters are not allowed to wear. You're allowed to wear nearly everything, okay, except perfume clothes, obviously, but that's part of the perfume element. You're not allowed to get married during ihram, no clipping of the nails, no shaving, no hair cutting, no using of perfume by men or women, and no usage of oils. Okay. Sometimes medicine is allowed depending if it's needed, and it might have some scent, but it just depends on how much scent it has. But if it's needed, you can use it. Can I smoke when in ihram? So you should avoid smoking in ihram, but some people, they're addicted, what are they going to do? So give some penalty afterwards. What is allowed in ihram? So just say you come you've got off the plane, you've got to Jeddah, it's really hot, you've got on the coach, they've taken you to your hotel, it's been a long journey, you get to your hotel, and now before you go for Umrah, you want to have a shower. Are you allowed to have a shower whilst you are in ihram? Yes, you are. Okay, but without any shower gel, without any shampoo, without any soap, just water. And with the intention to cool down. With the intention to cool down. In reality, you shouldn't be having a shower to clean yourself. Because the whole purpose of ihram and a muhrim and performing Hajj is to be in a disheveled state. To be in a state where Allah sees you in a pitiful state. That look at this person who's come from the UK. He used to wear Gucci. He used to wear Hugo Boss. He used to wear all these perfumes. And now look at him. Look at her. They've come begging like beggars to me. That's what Allah wants to see. That's exactly what Allah wants to see. But then some of us, we are so OCD or just used to being clean that we can't avoid the shower there as well. So, try and be in a disheveled state when we go for Umrah. Right? So, you are allowed to take a bath. Like I said about the shoes, you're allowed to wrap a wound or an abscess. You're allowed to use an umbrella for shelter. You're allowed to wear a belt to keep one's money as well. Okay? And like I said, لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Continuous reading of this. Yeah? Continuous. And there's lots of rewards for Talbiyah. You'll find it in the virtues of Hajj. I'm going to skip some of the slides quickly because we haven't got much time left as well. You will get the slides as well from Rashid, inshallah, if you've registered. So women should not raise their voices too much when they're reading the Talbiyah. The men should raise it as much as they can. So now you're ready for Umrah. Okay, so you're ready for Umrah. You've got to the hotel, you put all your bags down, and you decide what time will be the best to perform the Umrah. You might think, oh, it's going to be too hot after Zohar, so we'll go after Asr, we'll go after Maghrib, whatever time it is. And I'm not sure whether you're supposed to book on the app as well. You might have to book on the app to go for Umrah. This might be something that they are doing at the moment as well. So you might need to do the booking on the app. So once you've decided when to go, then you will enter through, there's only one door, main door, which you enter, which is gate 1. Rashid, what's the King Abdulaziz gate. Yeah, opposite the clock tower. Yeah? Yeah. So you go through there and you will keep a bag with you for your shoes. Keep that bag with you because if you put it in a shoe rack, you're gonna finish on the other side. Yeah? So you need to keep that bag with you all the time. Yeah? You got the CBH UK bags if you want. You only need one which you've got where you've got your trainers, and for the men you have your sisters because you're in there. Okay? Sisters can wear their trainers, they'll have theirs. Now you are walking into the masjid. Okay? Now you might, it depends what time you're going in. It might be a salah time, so you're going to do salah and then go for umrah, or it might not be a salah time and you've decided to go for umrah. Whichever it is you decide, you go and pray your salah and then you go for umrah, or you go for umrah straight away. Whichever you feel is right to do. You've got to leave about 2 hours to perform your umrah. 2 hours minimum. Yeah, that's tawaf and sa'i. Tawaf and sa'i. Yeah, depending on how busy the crowd is, it might take longer, it might take less. But at least, on average, you're looking at about 2 hours. When you're going for umrah, you're saying your labbaik. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik finishes when you start your tawaf. Labbaik finishes when you start your tawaf. Number one. Number two, when you're walking in, if it's the first time you're seeing the Kaaba, you keep your gaze down. You enter into the masjid with the right foot. You make the dua, Allahumma ftahli abwab rahmatik, of entering the masjid. You put your shoes in your bag, and now you walk towards the Kaaba. You're walking towards the Kaaba, and you get to a place where you can just see that the Kaaba is in the distance. You move to one side, and you raise your hands, and you raise your eyes, and you make dua. The dua that is made at the time of the first time seeing the Kaaba is accepted by God. So you're going to have to leave about 20 minutes, half an hour for you to make dua, because that time you don't get back again. So some people will be in a hurry, but no. So let's make that 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because you're going to make half an hour dua. Okay? You made the dua, the last dua you make, because sometimes you forget some of the duas. So the last dua you make is, oh Allah, any of the duas I make after this accepted. To the cheating. Allah likes cheatiness. Allah loves cheating. When you leave cheating with Allah, Allah loves it. There was once there's one hadith the Prophet says there'll be 2 people who will be taken out of the fire of hell, and one of them he runs towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other one is dragging his feet. So Allah will say to the person, why were you dragging your feet? He says, oh Allah, I was ashamed to come back to you after I've done all these sins. I know I spent time in hell, but I'm ashamed of coming here. And then he said to the other one, why did you come running? He said, Allah, I've disobeyed you so much, I didn't want to disobey you again. You asked for me to come here. So Allah will say, okay, now you go to Jannah. So Allah, sometimes he likes, so oh Allah, any duas that I make after this, oh Allah accepts it from me. Then you start walking towards the Kaaba. Now this is where you uncover your right shoulder. Only for the tawaf. Uncover your right shoulder, only for the tawaf. And you walk towards the Hajj al-Aswad. So there's a green light opposite Hajj al-Aswad. That's how you know where the Hajj al-Aswad is. Before there used to be a line on the floor, that's gone. Now you have to just work out that most probably this is where Hajj al-Aswad is. Okay, so you're walking towards there, and you're staying on the bake, and then you're getting ready. Now in your mind, in your heart, you're making intention that, oh Allah, I'm making tawaf for my umrah. I'm making tawaf for my umrah. Accept it from me and make it easy for me. It's just in your mind, that's what you know already, and you can say it in your tongue if you want. Okay? Then when you get to Hajj al-Aswad, you will be starting your tawaf. How do you start your tawaf? Just like you start salah, that's how you start Hajj al-Aswad. Yeah? Just like you start tawaf, that's how you start Hajj al-Aswad. So you will, it's like salah. So Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. You put your hands down, and then, or in some narrations, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. And you put your hand down. And then you point towards Hajj al-Aswad as if you're touching it. So if you were there, you would kiss it. But now you can't kiss it, so you will put your hands as if you are touching it, and then you put your hands to your mouth. That. Now, whilst you are walking, you won't be able to turn around towards Hajj Aswad. So you'll be doing like this. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And then you stop. Your left shoulder will be towards the Kaaba, and you start walking around. Okay? So now you are starting 1 out of 7 to do your tawaf. 7 rounds is 1 tawaf. 7 rounds is 1 tawaf. This is your first one. Okay? You will go round and you read any dua you want. Any dua you want. And then when you get to the corner before Hajj al-Aswad, this is called Rukn al-Yaman. Rukn al-Yaman, the corner of Yaman. You don't have to point anything towards it. You don't say anything there. Only from Rukn al-Yaman to Hajj al-Aswad, the dua, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. You keep reading that dua until you get to Hajj al-Aswad. Once you get to Hajj al-Aswad, Bismillah al-Rahman. 1 round is done. How many times have you kissed Hajj al-Aswad? Twice. And 1 round is done. Yeah? Then you go again. When you get to Rukn al-Yamani, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And then you get to Hajj al-Aswad. Bismillah Allahu Akbar. 3 times you kiss Hajj al-Aswad and 2 rounds are finished. 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 7 rounds. You kiss Hajj al-Aswad for the 8th time. And now your tawaf is finished. You read any dua that you want during the rounds. Just keep a tab on your rounds. Yeah, you can get a small tasbih for 7 rounds, get that one, or you just keep a tab. Okay, just make sure you know how many. Once you've done the 7, you have to be in the state of wudu. You have to be in the state of wudu when you perform tawaf. It's a condition. If your wudu breaks, then you go and do wudu again and you start from that particular round. So if you've done 2 rounds, your wudu breaks, you do the 3rd round, go and do wudu, and then you come back and start the 3rd round again. Start from the 3rd round. Okay? Once you finish your tawaf, then the kitab you mentioned, you go to Muntazam, or you go to the kitab, you play 2 rakats behind Maqam Ibrahim. 2 rakats behind Maqam Ibrahim. You can see Maqam Ibrahim here at the back. So 2 rakats behind Maqam Ibrahim. Yeah.
You know, they put more than
Yeah, you can't play inside. No, so the boundary that they put is just around Hajj al-Aswad. So it's only a little bit. The rest of it is all open. So that's when you'll be doing your tawaf. And then Maqam Ibrahim, you'll be able to go behind Maqam Ibrahim. You don't have to be next to Maqam Ibrahim, you can go as back as you want. Okay? You go as far back as you want. You'll see people praying their 2 rakat salah there. You will go and perform 2 rakat salah there. These 2 rakat salah are wajib. After tawaf, 2 rakat salah are wajib. In the first rakat, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. In the second rakat, Qul huwallahu ahad. Okay? And then you make dua. After you make dua, it mentions that you go to the multazam. But now you can't go to the multazam, which is making dua next to the Kaaba, so you leave that. Then you drink zamzam. Zamzam is just there behind where you perform your salah. So you go and drink zamzam and you read the dua for reading Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan wasi'a wa amalan salihan mutaqabbala wa shifaan 'ajilan min kulli da'. Once you've made your dua there, then you go to salah to make your salah. There's du'as which you read when you're going into the Mount of Safa, and now there's different levels for Safa. You can do it ground floor, first floor, second floor, whichever floor you want to do, you do it. Okay? You get to Safa, you face towards the Kaaba, and you'll be able to see the Kaaba, or you'll be able to face the Kaaba, and you make dua. This is where du'as are accepted. You make dua, after you make dua for about a few minutes, then you start your salah. Okay? Now let me just go on to that slide. Remember, once you've, I forgot to mention this one. It is sunnah for men to walk rapidly in the first 3 circuits. This is known as Ramad. Yeah. The uncovering of the shoulder is in every tawaf which you do with ihram. Okay? The Ramal is the one that is in every tawaf which has got a sa'i after it. Sorry. The Ramal is in every tawaf which there is sa'i after it. Okay? And Ramal is walking like a soldier for 3 rounds for the men. Now, if they've got women with them, it might be difficult. If there's too much crowd, it might be difficult. If it can't be done, don't worry about it. It is sunnah, it's not farz, it's not wajib. It's good if it can be done, but if it can't, because of the crowd, you can't do it. I've mentioned all of this already. Yeah, if the salah time during the tawaf, then you just pray your salah there and you carry on. If you've got women with you and it's going to be salah time, then you need to get out as soon as possible. Yeah, so you do your 4 rounds, for example, and you know that the salah time, because the women will get separated. So you go with your women and you go to one side, you perform your salah nearby, and then you come back and do your 5th and 6th, 7th round. Okay? Don't stay there that right at the time of salah, then police will come and separate you and then you're lost. Yeah? Someone will say, alhamdulillah. So you've gone Zamzam, then you go to Safa Marwa. Yeah. So you go to, there's only a small hill. It's not even a mount. Okay. So you go a small hill and you face the Kaaba. So the Kaaba is over here. Yeah. So the Kaaba will go over here somewhere. You'll be able to see it from Safa. You make your dua here and then you start walking towards Marwa. Okay. So 1 round is up to here. Marwa. It's not Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa 1. That will make it 14. We've had some people who said, Shaykh, I'm really tired. What happened? I went Safa, Marwa, Safa, Marwa, Safa, Marwa, and you finished already. I said, you were supposed to finish when I did, halfway. So they did 14. Yeah? So Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa, Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa. So you finish at Marwa. Yeah? The only thing that you need to remember is these green lights here. These green lights. So they are approximately over here, nearer to Safa. In between the green lights, you need to walk quickly. Yeah, especially for the men. The women don't. Okay. So for the men, they have to walk quickly here, and then again carry on walking to Marwa. Anyway, you finish your 7 over here, Marwa. Once you finish your 7 up to Marwa, at each point, Safa and Marwa, you face the Qibla and make dua. Face the Qibla and make dua at each point. Okay. Once you've done the Marwa at the end, the 7th one, then your Umrah is complete, and the only thing left is to cut your hair. The only thing left is to cut your hair. Remember, this is Umrah. We're not talking about Hajj. We mentioned Hajj before. The cutting of the hair happens after pelting, animal sacrifice, and then cutting of the hair. And here, Tawaf, Sa'i, and then you cut your hair. Okay. Now, after you've done the Tawaf and the Sa'i, you can cut your own hair. Okay. You can't cut somebody else's hair until your hair is cut. But you can cut your own hair. Yeah. You still have to pass the blade over it. Okay. Because that will happen. It does happen. Some people do Umrah once, and then they do Umrah again, and they don't have much hair. For the women, they have to take 1 loop, yeah, of the hair and cut that much. And sometimes they have the hair is not equal, but they still need to cut at least a quarter of that last loop at the end of the hair. Okay, a quarter of the hair. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. A quarter of the whole of your hair, this much has to be cut, just a fingertip. Yeah, about a fingertip from a quarter of your hair. Yes.
So you land, you do,
Yeah.
you go back to your
Yeah. So I'll mention. Right? So now you're out of ihram. Now your umrah is done. Once you cut your hair, sometimes people are so excited they forget to cut their hair and they run into the shower. Yeah. If you stop using shower gel and everything and you haven't cut your hair, penalties, massive penalties. So make sure you cut your hair. Once you cut your hair, now you're out of ihram. You go back to your hotel and now you are there in Makkah Mukarramah, and you're going to stay there from 26th of June all the way to the 7th of July in Makkah Mukarramah doing ibadah. Make targets. I want to finish one Quran by the 7th of July. I want to finish one Quran during the Hajj Days. And even if you think that's difficult, unless you put that target, you won't do it. I want to read 100 kalima every single day. I want to read 100 istighfar every single day. I want to read 100 subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanallah al-azim every single day. I want to read subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar 100 times every single day. I want to read 500 durood and salam of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam every single day. These are the targets because you've got so much time there, so much time. But if you don't put these targets, you will not do it. You will not do it. So first kalima, third kalima, fourth kalima, durood sharif on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, istighfar, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, and subhanallah al-azim. At least. There's many others as well, but these are the minimum that you need to do. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and du'as as well, and Quran. One Quran before Hajj, and one Quran during Hajj. If you make that target, you will make sure that you keep busy in those days. If you don't make that target, you won't keep busy. Okay. Next question is that if you're in Makkah Mukarramah, you've got from the 26th of June till the 7th of July, can I perform Umrah? According to some schools of thought, they say no, you shouldn't perform any Umrah. According to other schools of thought, yes, you can. So according to the Hanafi school of thought, you can. Okay, so you can go to Masjid Aisha. So if you are going to perform Umrah in those days between 26th of June and 6th of July, 7th of July, then you will wear your ihram in your hotel, ihram cloth. But the intention has to be made at Masjid Aisha. Right? So you have to get into a taxi, you tell them, I want to go to Masjid Aisha. You go to Masjid Aisha. If it's a time where you are allowed to perform salah, you pray your 2 rakat salah inside Masjid Aisha, you make the intention there, and you come back to Masjid Haram and you do your tawaf, sa'i, cut hair, and you're out of your ihram is done, your umrah is done. If you get there at a time when you're not allowed to perform 2 rakat salah, so for example, between Fajr and sunrise, you're not allowed to perform salah. So you can take the taxi to Masjid Aisha, tell it to be in the car park, and then make your intention there. Don't even get out of the car, and you go back. So you just do the round trip without performing the salah because there's no salah. Yeah, and the salah is not farz or wajib. Okay? So that's how to perform your umrah whilst you're there if you want to do extra umrah. Okay? So now that's done, and I've mentioned to you how to perform the Hajj as well. So any questions? Do well for time? Yeah.
So,
Salam.
just a quick one. You mentioned penalties. Where do we find information and criteria?
Yeah, so there are some penalties which are very, very serious, and some penalties where you just give 5 riyals, 10 riyals as a penalty. So what we'll do, I mean, hopefully there will be some imams, Rashid and his team are trying to ensure that there will be some imams going there with the UK group. My recommendation, as I mentioned, is 100 imams should be there because you've got around 4,000 people. So for every 40, there should be at least one imam. But let's see. But in terms of penalties, it depends. Whatever penalty you think you made, keep a list. Keep a list. Right? Now, sometimes it might be that, I pulled the hair. So you just note that down. Sometimes it might be that when I went to the bathroom, I used salt by accident and sent it. Write it down. These penalties are not going to affect anything forward. Okay? There are some penalties that might be more severe, where you need to sacrifice an animal, and some penalties which will be just to give some sadaqah. Okay? Once you've got your list at the end, then normally what I normally do is I tell people to come with the list. And I become the accountant, and then I tell them how much to pay. So then they will go for sadaqah. So they will pay 70 riyals and that will go for sadaqah. And if they made a major error, then they will have to sacrifice an animal in the haram. Yeah, and that could be up to £200. So don't make big mistakes. They're very costly. Yes. You got the mic here. You got. So if you're performing Hajj Tamattu, you are doing Umrah and then coming out of Ihram. Because you're coming out of Ihram, you shave your hair and then you wait. So shaving is best. Shaving is best. Now some people might say, no, I don't want to shave, I want to cut my hair. So if you want to cut for the men, for the women, they're going to have to cut that much hair. For the men, if they feel that they want to cut their hair and then leave the shaving for Hajj, then they still have to cut a fingertip size amount of hair, at least a quarter of the hair. Quarter. Yeah? So majority will still have to cut their hair, most of it. Okay? And then you might want to leave the shaving. But shaving is always better according to the hadith of the Prophet, and you've got 10, 11 days it will grow. Yeah. There's one at the back of the
Yeah, well, you mentioned the true housewife after the Tawaf. If you commit your Tawaf within
Good question. So if after your Tawaf, so just say you finish your Tawaf between Fajr and sunrise. Okay, between Fajr and sunrise. And there's no other Salah that you can read before sunrise except the two Sunnah and the two Farahs of Fajr. You can't read any other Salah. Or you finish your Tawaf after Asr Salah. And you've read your Asr Salah, there's no Nafal Salah before Maghrib except after you've done your Asr Salah. So you delay your 2 rakats until after when you can perform it. Okay? So you can delay it till after sunrise or delay it till after Maghrib. It's fine. Now, if, for example, you say, I need to go for my Sahih, so you carry on for your Sahih, and even if you read it over there after Maghrib, near the Sahih area, it's fine. Okay? It doesn't have to be exactly behind the Maqam Ibrahim. It can be anywhere in the masjid. Okay? Next. Please.
Questions around so if you go first and then you come out of then for the Hajj, is it the same
Good question. Now remember, Ihram is the intention. The cloth is just the cloth. And the cloth just needs to be clean. So you wash this one and get it ready for your Hajj. Or you can have 2 ihrams. It's totally up to you. As long as it's clean, you can use the same ihram and everything. It just needs to be clean. Yeah. Sister. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So there are some women's masail that need to be looked at. And there's a women's Hajj companion. Did we have one? I forgot to ask you. So there's a women's Hajj companion. So just to mention briefly, when we ask medical staff around taking these tablets, and from experience, it messes up the days for you. Okay? It messes up a lot of the days. It becomes, the days become different to what your normal days are. And therefore you become very, very frustrated. So the medical advice that I've seen is try to avoid taking tablets, number one. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The second thing is, if a woman is menstruating and when she's bleeding on the 25th of June, it does not stop her from making intention. Even on the Hajj days, Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha was on her days when she was going for Hajj. And she said to the Prophet, oh, how am I going to do intention? You just make the intention. You do everything that everybody else is doing. Except there's a few things you can't do. Number one, you can't perform the Umrah. You will have to stay in Ihram until you become pure and then you go and do your Umrah. So you will go to the hotel, you will stay in Ihram. Ihram for you will be avoiding scent, avoiding soap, avoiding shower gel, shampoo. But you can change your clothes, you can take off your scarf, you can do all of those things whilst you are in Ihram in your room, in the hotel. And then when you are pure, then you will be going to perform your Umrah. You do your Umrah, you cut your hair, and now you are out of Ihram. And because you've got a big gap, you've got 11 days between, or 11, 12 days, between 13 days, between the coming to Makkah and then doing the Hajj, you will become pure and you'll be able to perform your Umrah, number one. Once you've performed your Umrah, then, or just say a sister is going for Hajj and she's in her days, the only issue, everything you will do the same except for Salah and entering the masjid. Everything you will do the same except for Salah and entering the masjid, and you won't be able to perform Umrah because you can't enter the masjid. The only issue is sometimes when your dates to return to the UK are conflicting with the days that you are in menstruation and you are in Makkah, and by the time you return, there's going to be a problem. That's the only, that you need to discuss privately with the Papa and she'll give you answers. But otherwise, ask the medical doctor about taking tablets, but from what I've experienced from other sisters, they say it's messed up the menstrual days.
So, if you, that was the case, and you can't invest what you get then you should take intentional practice.
So again?
So, you can't do the first program and you take intentional practice.
So the question is, if a woman is in a menstrual state and when she's entering into Makkah, should she make intention for Qiran or Ifrad or Tamattu? Will it make a difference? And in reality, it won't make a difference, because if you go with Ifrad intention, you'll still be in Ihram, because you have to make the intention of Ihram before you enter into Jeddah. Same with Qiran. And in fact, the best one will be Tamattu, because at least you will be able to come out after 5 days or 6 days, and then you're able to come out. Okay, so Tamattu will be better. Yes. The 2 rakats are after every tawaf. After every tawaf. Even when you're in Makkah, the days that you are there, one of the most virtuous actions is to make tawaf in your normal clothes. Okay? So just like I've mentioned how to perform tawaf in Umrah, whilst you're there, every day after Fajr or after Asr or whatever time you feel you want to do it, go and perform tawaf of the Kaaba. And you'll do the same. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and then you do your 7 rounds. Okay? After every 7 rounds, that's 1 tawaf, you pray 2 rakats wajib. Doesn't matter if it's a nafal tawaf, sunnah tawaf, farz tawaf, wajib tawaf, after every tawaf is 2 rakat wajib. Okay? Yeah. Can't hear you. The last part, the second question was? Yes. Yeah. So if you've started with tawaf and you've done 2 rounds and it's about 10 minutes left for salah, and your husband says, look, we need to get out of here before we get stuck. So you've done your 2 rounds, you move out just in an area where there's women, and the men will go on the side, you come back and you start your 3rd. Right? And the first part of your question was, I heard it, but yeah, if your hair falls out. So if women are washing their hair without shampoo or in the state of ihram and hair falls out, then there is penalty, but the penalty is not severe. Okay, so it might be 5 riyals, 10 riyals, whatever, depending on how much hair has fallen out. Usually when they come for the account, they come to me and say, Maulana Sahib, 10 hairs have fallen out. So I then make a hisab according to the number of hairs. There's a question here. Have you got anything else? Yes. Questions on that?
When you're in tawaf product, still in the ihram, are you supposed to uncover the right?
Yes. So if you are in tawaf al-ifad, the tawaf of the Hajj, and you are still in ihram, and you've got a sa'i after it, then you will be uncovering the right shoulder. When you be uncovering the right shoulder, yeah, you will be uncovering the right shoulder for that one. So if you're wearing ihram, then you always uncover the right shoulder. Any other questions? There's a question over here.
What are the feelings of women traveling for mahram? People have actually published that to be okay, but there's lots of confusion.
Yeah. So what is the ruling about a woman traveling without a mahram? Okay. So according to the majority school of thought, a woman cannot travel the traveling distance, which is 48 miles or 77 kilometers or whatever it is, without a mahram. So the Hajj is not farad on a woman if she does not have a mahram, according to majority school of thought. Okay. There are some schools of thought that allow elderly women over the age, over a certain age, to travel without a mahram, but majority schools of thought say no. Okay, so yeah, it's up to you. I think so.
Just to add to that point, the Saudi authorities actually allowed women to go for Hajj without a mahram if they were age 45 and above. So that rule was always there. What we're saying at this moment, there is no age limit.
What the she said, under 45 can travel without mahram.
That's what I said. Yeah, so at the moment they've removed that restriction. So
Again,
sorry?
they removed it or they take it back.
No, they removed it. So women can travel without the mahram.
Yeah, so the Saudis have removed that restriction, but from a Shari perspective, majority school of thought is that you should have a mahram. Okay. There's one question on the Facebook page. With regards to Tawaf and Ziyarah for Hajj, can we perform this anytime after the Hajj? I think it says, for example, can it be performed after Maghrib? Yes, it can. So the Tawaf and Ziyarah has to be performed on the 10th, 11th, or 12th before Maghrib. Okay, so you've got 2.5 days to perform that Tawaf and Ziyarah. Yeah. And it can be done anytime, after any Salah, whatever time Salah is, etc. Any other questions? Yes. This way. If you cut your hair by mistake, or if you well, that's very, very minimal penalty. Yeah, so it would be 50 pence or whatever you do. Usually after the Hajj, we normally tell people to take out 10, 20, 30 pounds sadaqah as penalty, just in case we made any mistakes. And when they come with the account, that's what it normally tots up to anyway. It's usually less than that, and we just say just give a bit more. Okay. Say that again. Okay, so if somebody soils their ihram whilst in Mina or Arafat or Muzdalifah, they'll have to wash it. They'll have to clean it there. And the weather is quite good, it's quite hot, it will dry very quickly, but it will have to be done there. So you could take one spare with you, at least the bottom part. Take at least one bottom part spare. And yeah, that's really important. But if not, then you have to wash it there. I think some of the brothers will want to know how to wear the ihram as well. So it's a tricky one. Yeah? It does cause lots of issues. I mean, the other day I did a talk in one of the masjids, and I said, look, you know, when we come for salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us enough wealth to buy a shirt that, you know, goes down a little bit, because I've told the imams in some places to now start making announcements. Mind the gap. Mind the gap. Why? Because somebody is performing salah and is just about to go in sajda, and the other person in front of him has gone into sajda, and unfortunately he didn't buy a long enough shirt. So, you know, these kind of things are important for salah. And even in Hajj, you have to learn how to wear the ihram because that is part of your sunnah. It's part of your sunnah. And there's ladies there as well. It's not good not to know how to perform, how to wear the ihram as well. So it's really important to learn how to wear the ihram properly to ensure that we are doing our Hajj properly as well. So I'll just show how to do the thing. The main one is the bottom. The main one is the bottom. The top one is very easy. The top one is just wrap it around. So the top one you just wrap it around. And you keep it like this all the time. And when you're going for tawaf, when you get into the mataf, that's when you uncover your right shoulder. Okay, uncover the right shoulder, and you keep it like this until the tawaf is finished. Once the tawaf is finished, you go back to me. Okay? Once the tawaf is finished, you go back to me. But the hard part is this, the bottom. So what I've learned is make sure you spread your legs. What will happen if you don't spread your legs? What will happen is that you start walking like a penguin. So you have to make sure that your legs are spread, and then this corner will be here. So there's the gap. That's where your gap will be. Your gap will be here. And then I will bring this round, and I will bring this over here. So this has come round. I've got a gap over here. This is over here. And then I'll bring this over here. And then I will put my belt over here. So the belt will come here. Then once the belt is here, let's see. Go from the back. Go from the back. No, it's just. So I will put my belt here. My just imagine this. So 2019. So once the belt is here, I will cover that belt like this. So the belt is covered. So the belt is safe, and then this should be tight. Okay. So now this is tight. I've got this one extra covering over here, which covers that part. Hopefully, and it's above the ankles, but it's not coming up too much. It should be covering the belly button, so that will cover your sister. So that once your top part might not cover the belly button, you're still covering your sister. Because your sister is from your belly button down to your knees. Okay? So now when I'm walking, it should be very, very comfortable. Okay? It should be very, very comfortable. But if you don't do that, you might be walking like this. And it's very tight. Very, very tight.
Tube ihram.
Yeah, the tube, like I mentioned in the talk, that you can wear the tube ihram as well. Like I said, it's like a lungi. Yeah, so it's like a lungi, and you can just keep it like that. Nothing wrong with that because it's not according to the shape of your body. So you can wear the tube ihram as well. In this. There's a lot more that we could have done. I mean, we've tried to go through as much as possible. I've tried to make it as practical as possible so that when you're leaving from here, you know what you need to do. And you know what you need to take. And when you're there, you know how to perform the Hajj. Hopefully, you've got a guide there, like I mentioned, and it will make it much more easier for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you all and make me and everyone who has intended to go for Hajj this year, make us all from those who are accepted with their labbaik, and Allah calls us to His house. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a journey of a lifetime. I always say, you got one question. Yeah, question.
Question is, I'm just with the dates that are available. If you were going, what would you consider going earlier? Judging by what the situation is.
So which dates would you consider to go? That's the question. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on how long you want to go. And it depends on your annual leave and all of those kind of things. So some, obviously we don't, I mean, even in the packages at the moment, there's no Medina. It's only one of them.
There is two
Sure.
The dates are fixed.
Yeah, so, you know, and I haven't been through the Medina slides as well. You know, there's something I wanted to mention about Medina. I mentioned it now because we've got about, do you need to say anything at the end? 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes and I'll just mention a few things, a few more things. So one is, yeah, so it depends on yourself and how many days you want to go. Yeah, and, you know, when I've been to Medina Munawwara first and then we've been to Makkah Mukarramah. But some people prefer to go Makkah Mukarramah first and then go to Medina Munawwara. It just depends on how many days you are able to go for. If you can go for 20 days, 21 days, good. You know, I think 21 days would be a very, very good. If you're short of time because of your annual leave, then minimum 12 to 14 days. Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, it's totally up to you. Yeah. But you know, I think 25th of June is not a bad day. It gives you enough time to settle down. Even if you go on the 30th of June, it gives you enough time to settle down. After your Umrah, it gives you about 7, 8, 9 days, yeah, before you go for Hajj. So it's not a bad timing. Was there one more question? One, yeah.
You have to work all your tests 2 days before the flight. So what if someone is holiday or you're doing guidance on?
Sorry, I can't hear you. If you could put it.
So I think it's just around travel insurance, because packages, I don't know what it will be if you're holiday 2 days before the flight. They do recommend travel insurance we should buy, like we should cover the cost of our package. And more services are really like.
Yeah, so because of the way the Hajj is being done this year, I don't even know. I think it would be best to cover yourself somehow, but I don't know how. You know, I can't say from here whether you should or you shouldn't. I'm sorry.
Do you need a booster or just 2 doses?
It's 2 doses, isn't it? Yeah, I think the booster is not necessary as far as from what's written on the terms. Yeah. You have one, yeah, 2 questions.
So just one more thing, just a general thing. I already money will for you guys. Is that recommended?
Yeah, yeah, good. This one here, I mentioned that.
So you know, the relief that the relief will be included.
What will be?
The relief will be included in the package. But when you give the on the package, you can't include the relief, but it will be additional from. Is that true or?
I don't know. It's important at the moment, it's up in the air, so lots of things are not very certain at the moment. So, and the brother mentioned about writing a will, and I think it's really, really important. You should all have written a will anyway. Too many things are coming. You know, I work in the hospital, and I hear about too many disputes after somebody dies because, you know, just it might be a surprise to you, but some people do die young. Yeah, it might be surprising. So there's lots of people who die young as well. So, you know, the will is not only for 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds. Wills are for everybody. And that's why the Prophet said, do not sleep for 3 days unless you've got a will written. So you should have your debts written down, you should have your wishes written down, and the will is usually done to distribute your wealth according to what the inheritance has been written in the Quran. So that's what your will should say.
Sorry, for you mentioned about the asshole possibility. Just a concern about the window between what we discussed here. And this is why it's likely to come through. And we can possibly already get us sooner rather than later.
Yes. So we sent the letter off probably around Tuesday, Wednesday, and we had correspondence back to as an acknowledgement from CAA. And we're hoping that we get something back for the HBPG meeting tomorrow, and we've invited them to be present there for the meeting as well. So we're pressing hard at all levels. If there's something that we missed, you know, please let us know. We're fighting the corner, pressing as hard as we can.
I think as Brother Rashid mentioned as well, I think you need to keep on messaging with your concerns, if you have any concerns. Because we are very, very concerned from our side. we are very, very concerned for the Hajjs, that hopefully everything goes smoothly, but from our experience, you need guidance from this country, you need support from this country. And that's what you need to stress in your petitions to Mutawwif, that, okay, we're coming, but we don't have the confidence to perform the Hajj without having some kind of guidance from UK-based agencies or scholars or whoever you feel. But I think it's really important. That's my biggest goal. I just hope that you're able to perform the Hajj in the best manner that you can, and you have the right guidance as well. So I think the two things I mentioned before I finish. Number one, everyone says Hajj is a journey of a lifetime. Hajj is a journey of a lifetime. So everyone mentions that Hajj is a journey of a lifetime. And after Hajj, when I ask many Hajjis, how was the Hajj? They say, oh, it's memorable. Somebody will say, my feet are hurting. Somebody will say, I've got blisters. Somebody will say, I've got a cold. Somebody will say, what is it that I can tell that you've been to Hajj? And say, can you see I've lost my voice? So these are the different answers you get, but they all say it's been a journey of a lifetime. But I was seeing one of my friends, he was jumping off Mount Kilimanjaro doing a bungee jump. That's something, that's the journey of a lifetime. You jump off a plane and you do parachuting. You never will forget that. So what is different between jumping off a plane or doing a bungee jump or just going on a roller coaster at one of the theme parks? What is it? What's going to be different for you? And to me, journey of a lifetime is when you've connected to Allah. If your Hajj has connected to your Lord, connected you to your Lord, then that is a journey of a lifetime. Otherwise, there's many experiences around the world that you can have, and you can say, that was amazing, that was brilliant, I'm never going to forget this. All of those trips that you might have done already, they're all journeys of a lifetime. But the reality is, and the goal and the objective of Hajj is to connect to our Allah. Connect to our Allah. And if you come back with that connection, and your heart is connected, and you feel spiritual, then that's the journey of life. And then connection with our Prophet Muhammad. And that's the journey of Medina and Mawla. And with these last few minutes, when you go to Medina and Mawla, you should be in awe of the Prophet Muhammad. That who am I going to? I'm going to the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given the Prophet such a status that you and I cannot imagine. Allah says in the Quran, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا. We have raised your remembrance. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He took the Prophet up above the 7 heavens to Mi'raj. Up to the Sidratul Muntaha, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh heaven, then Sidratul Muntaha, and then beyond that, and then Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, the closest and the best of angels. He says to the Prophet, this is my red line as well. I can't go beyond this. Only you are allowed. That Prophet of Allah is who you will be visiting in Medina. The ulama mentioned that section where the Prophet is resting, according to many ulama, the soil that is touching the body of the Prophet is better than the Arsh of Allah. It's better than the Kaaba. It's the most beloved and the most blessed place on earth. That's where we go. And that's why some people, when they used to enter into Medina Munawwara, they used to be scared. But am I going to put my foot somewhere where the Prophet might have put his foot? Some scholars previously, before entering into Medina Munawwara, they used to take off their shoes. And they used to walk barefooted in Medina Munawwara. Some people, when they're going for salam, they used to take one step forward, two steps back. That's how scared they were. The awe of the Prophet, that I'm going to my Prophet, the most beloved of Allah. When Allah mentions Atiullah wa Rasul, Atiullah wa Atiul Rasul, obey Allah, obey the Messenger, obey Allah, obey the Messenger. That Prophet to visit Medina Munawwara is an honor. And we do it only, one, to visit the mosque of the Prophet, and two, to visit the Prophet. And in reality, if he knew our condition today, our heads would be bowed in shame, and our tears would be flowing down our cheeks, because he cried for you and I to a level where his feet were swollen. He used to make dua every night for you and I, although he has never seen us, never met us. And what have we made him? And that's why when you visit Medina Munawwara, you visit Medina Munawwara with awe, with humility, with humbleness, with a sense of shame that, O Prophet of Allah, you came with a message and we received that message, but we have not done according to that message. But we are still here because we love you and we want to show your love to you. And whilst you are in Medina Munawwara, all that time, recite Durood and Salam excessively. One of my teachers mentioned an amazing point. He said, somebody came to him and asked, asked the teacher, Medina Munawwara, what shall I do? That every step you walk, every foot you put on the ground, you say, Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah. And the second foot you say, Astaghfirullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah. Astaghfirullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah. Astaghfirullah. Peace and blessings be upon you, O Messenger of Allah. And Astaghfirullah, because, O Allah, I am not worthy to you. O Allah, I am not worthy, but I ask your forgiveness. I ask your forgiveness. So Medina Munawwara is an amazing place. Those of you, and it's there, and the Prophet is there, and we need to try and get as close to it as possible, because there's only one intercessor on the earth who will be looking. When everybody will be saying Nafsi, Nafsi, he is the only one who will say Ummati, 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 Ummati. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of us for this year's Hajj. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us back as if we are without anything, just like a baby is born. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our learning today, our teaching today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take everyone, get my dua for everyone who has booked for Hajj this year. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take each and every one.
Just before we finish, I did say that we will be monitoring and sharing on social media. And I just wanted to say it's been a pleasure really to host this seminar. There's a lot of things that obviously are concerned will be taken back. And we do have a direct contact with us, drop us an email. And we will be sharing some links to WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups. In the off chance that we do have a physical presence or even a form of support here from the UK or whatever shape or form. Rest assured that we have Shaykh Yunus and other doctors, medics, Hajj guides available to you as well, inshallah. So, please subscribe and we'll share these slides with you. So, just to end on that note, we've got two, actually there was a few, but we've only got two here. So, the first one goes to Tasneem Sana. Is she here? Tasneem for you, and the other is for Leila. So, our sisters speak the brothers. So, there you go. Okay. And just before I finish, I just want to say a huge thanks and appreciation to the East London Mosque and the Muslim Centre, Brother Shaykh, and all the volunteers there. Really been a great help. And I just want to say thank you to Team CBH, all the brothers who came out today and help out in the background. And Shaykh Yunus, who came out and like a soldier, alhamdulillah, I think it'll be our 10th anniversary, right?
Most probably.
Most probably. Inshallah, we see each other in Hajj as well. But Shaykh Yunus, there's a small gift for you as well. And one for our new recruit, Brother Faisal as well. So that's like a big rock as well. And do share feedback. Assalamu alaikum.